In the latest arc of CBS's The Bold and the Beautiful, the plot takes a dark and emotional turn as Hope Logan is faced with the hardest revelation of her life, a secret she has kept buried for far too long. For fans of the show, Hope has always been a beacon of light, a figure of optimism and love within the chaos of the Forrester family drama. But as her world begins to unravel, Hope's hidden truth brings devastating consequences not only for her, but also for her relationships, particularly with Carter Walton. Hope, who has always been close to her family, has kept a haunting secret from everyone around her, a secret that has been eating away at her for months. She has been struggling with the aftermath of a catastrophic car accident, a tragedy that nearly cost her life. The physical scars of the crash have been nothing compared to the emotional toll it has taken on her, as the accident left her unable to conceive children. This revelation comes as a shock, especially since Hope has long harbored dreams of starting a family with the man she loves, Carter. The injury, which seemed like a minor detail to the outside world, has in fact become a major, life-altering change for Hope. The revelation shakes Hope to her core as she finally comes clean to Carter, revealing the truth about her inability to bear children. She has kept the secret hidden for so long, wrestling with feelings of guilt and shame. She never wanted to disappoint Carter, nor did she want to cause any pain to her family, who have always dreamed of seeing her start a family of her own. The secret has been a burden she has carried alone, and the weight of it has taken a toll on her mental and emotional well-being. When Hope tells Carter the truth, his reaction is one of shock, confusion, and disbelief. For Carter, this revelation is nothing short of a blow to the gut. He had no idea that Hope's accident had such a profound impact on her life, and the news that they would never be able to have children together hits him hard. As someone who has long dreamed of becoming a father, Carter is faced with a painful choice. He is torn between his deep love for Hope and his desire to start a family, something that seems impossible now given the circumstances. For Hope, the guilt is overwhelming. She feels as though she has failed Carter, and the thought of losing him over something that was completely out of her control weighs heavily on her. She never wanted to keep the secret from him, but she feared that if she told him the truth, it would destroy their relationship. The idea of being with Carter and not being able to give him children feels like a betrayal, even though it's a situation she had no hand in creating. The emotional turmoil she experiences is palpable as she struggles with the consequences of her decision to keep the truth hidden for so long. Carter, on the other hand, is left grappling with a moral and emotional dilemma. On one hand, he understands that Hope did not choose for this tragedy to happen, but on the other hand, the idea of a future without children is something he has never truly considered. He has always been a man who values family, and the prospect of marrying Hope and never having children is a hard pill to swallow. His feelings for Hope are deep, and he cannot imagine a life without her, but at the same time, he must come to terms with the reality of their situation. The pressure of the situation is heightened by the growing tension in their relationship. As Hope struggles with her own guilt, Carter is forced to confront the reality of their future together. Can he accept a life with Hope that does not include children, or will he find it impossible to move forward with her under these circumstances? The emotional stakes are incredibly high as Carter wrestles with his feelings of love for Hope and his desire to have a family of his own. Hope is not only dealing with her personal turmoil, but is also forced to confront the impact her secret has had on her relationship with her family. The Forrester family has always been incredibly close-knit, and the idea that Hope has been hiding such a huge part of her life from them only adds to her feelings of isolation. She begins to wonder if she will ever be able to repair the damage caused by her secret, and whether her family will ever fully understand the emotional pain she has been through. As the truth comes to light, Hope faces the difficult task of explaining her decision to her family and whether they will accept it or not. This dilemma becomes even more complicated as Hope's inner conflict continues to grow. She knows that Carter may not be able to accept a future without children, and this fear slowly begins to consume her. She worries that their love, which has always been so pure and deep, may not be enough to overcome the grief and disappointment that will inevitably come with the realization that they will never have children together. Hope begins to wonder if she is being selfish by wanting to hold on to her relationship with Carter, even if it means sacrificing his dreams of fatherhood. The thought of losing Carter, the love of her life, becomes more terrifying with each passing day. Hope's decision becomes an ethical and emotional minefield, one that could ultimately alter the course of her future and the future of her family. As much as she wants to be honest with Carter and the people she loves, she also fears that the truth may be too much to bear. In her heart, she knows that the longer she keeps the secret from Carter, the more dangerous it becomes for their relationship. But she also knows that the truth may be the breaking point for Carter, forcing him to make a choice that could either bring them closer or tear them apart forever. The storyline delves deep into the complexity of relationships and the choices people must make when faced with difficult circumstances. Hope's secret challenges the notion of what it means to love someone unconditionally and to sacrifice your own desires for the happiness of another. It raises the question of whether love is enough to overcome the pain and disappointment of unfulfilled dreams, and whether it is possible to build a life together when the future seems uncertain. As the plot continues to unfold, viewers are left on the edge of their seats, wondering whether Carter will ultimately accept a life with Hope without children, or if this revelation will lead to the end of their relationship. Will Hope's guilt and sense of failure be enough to drive her to make an unimaginable sacrifice for Carter's happiness, or will their love be strong enough to weather the storm? The coming episodes promise to explore these themes in greater depth, bringing a fresh and emotional layer to the already complex world of the bold and the beautiful. As the storylines evolve, fans will continue to be captivated by the raw emotion and tension that permeate every scene. Hope's struggle with her secret and the moral dilemma she faces are sure to keep viewers hooked as they anxiously await the outcome of this heartbreaking, pivotal chapter in her life. Ultimately, the decisions made by Hope, Carter, and their families will determine the future of their relationships and the course of their lives, leaving fans eagerly anticipating what comes next. As the emotional intensity of the situation builds, the bold and the beautiful takes a devastating turn when Carter Walton, after much soul-searching, makes the excruciating decision to end his relationship with Hope Logan. The revelation of Hope's inability to have children, a secret that she had carried for so long, has left an indelible mark on both of them. While Hope had hoped that Carter's love would be enough to transcend this heartbreaking truth, the reality of the situation proves far more complicated. In the aftermath of Hope's confession, Carter spends days torn between his feelings for her and his unspoken desire to have a family of his own. He has always dreamed of becoming a father, and the idea of raising children with the woman he loves was central to his vision of their future. The news that Hope will never be able to give him that future hits him harder than he anticipated. As someone who values family above all else, Carter is faced with an agonizing dilemma. Can he accept a life without children, or is the dream of fatherhood too essential to his happiness to abandon? Hope, on the other hand, finds herself struggling with the enormity of her secret. The guilt that has plagued her since the moment she learned the truth about her inability to conceive weighs heavily on her. Her decision to keep this from Carter was driven by a fear of losing him, but now, as the reality of their situation sinks in, Hope fears she has already lost him. The pressure is overwhelming, and her self-doubt grows as she watches Carter grapple with the pain of this revelation. Her desire to protect him from disappointment has led her to this point, a point where the love she shares with him may no longer be enough. In a particularly emotional scene, Carter confronts Hope, his face a mixture of sorrow and resolution. He admits that while his love for her has never wavered, he cannot ignore the fact that they both want different things out of life. He tells Hope that, as much as he loves her, the idea of a future without children is something he cannot accept. The pain in his voice is palpable as he explains that, deep down, he feels that he would be sacrificing too much of himself by remaining in a relationship where his dreams of fatherhood would remain unfulfilled. The depth of Carter's inner conflict is evident as he wrestles with the love he feels for Hope and the crushing reality of their situation. Hope, devastated by his decision, tries desperately to hold on to the relationship. She tells Carter that she understands his need for children and assures him that she would never want to stand in the way of his happiness. But as she listens to Carter's words, it becomes clear that he has made up his mind. The heartbreaking truth is that they are at an impasse. Carter cannot stay with Hope knowing that they will never be able to have children together, and Hope, in turn, cannot bear the thought of holding him back from a life that includes the family he's always wanted. Their love, it seems, is not enough to overcome this fundamental difference in their desires for the future. As Carter prepares to walk away, Hope is left alone, shattered by the loss of the man she thought she would build a future with. She watches as Carter slowly turns away, the weight of their broken relationship settling heavily on her shoulders. Hope is torn between the love she feels for Carter and the pain of losing him, knowing that there is nothing she can do to change the circumstances that have led them to this point. Her heart breaks as she watches him walk out of her life, and she is left to pick up the pieces of her shattered world. In the following days, Hope tries to make sense of what has happened. She battles with feelings of guilt, regret, and heartbreak, unsure of how to move forward. She finds herself questioning whether she made the right decision by keeping her secret from Carter in the first place. Her thoughts are consumed by the notion that, perhaps, if she had been more honest with him earlier, things could have turned out differently. But even as she grapples with these questions, she knows that there is no undoing the damage that has been done. Her inability to have children is something that cannot be changed, and she must now come to terms with the loss of the future she had once envisioned with Carter. Meanwhile, Carter struggles with his own sense of loss. He loves Hope deeply, but the truth of their situation is something he cannot ignore. As he moves through the days without her, Carter is forced to confront his own pain and the emptiness he feels in the wake of their breakup. Despite his decision, he cannot shake the feeling that he has lost something incredibly precious. The choice to walk away from Hope was not an easy one, and the emotional toll it takes on him is just as heavy as it is on her. For both of them, the road ahead is uncertain. Hope is left to rebuild her life without Carter by her side, and Carter must come to terms with the idea of forging a future that may not include the family he once dreamed of. Both characters are forced to face their personal struggles and the consequences of their decisions, knowing that life and love can sometimes be painfully complicated. As the show moves forward, the fallout from Hope and Carter's breakup will continue to unfold. The emotional impact of their separation will reverberate throughout their lives and the lives of those around them. Will Hope find a way to heal from the heartbreak and move forward, or will the loss of Carter prove to be too much for her to overcome? And will Carter ever come to regret his decision, or will he come to terms with the sacrifices he made for the sake of his own dreams? The breakup between Hope and Carter marks a pivotal moment in the bold and the beautiful ongoing narrative, as it explores the complexities of love, loss, and the difficult choices that define our futures. As both characters struggle to move on from each other, their journeys promise to be filled with further emotional twists and turns, keeping viewers on the edge of their seats as they watch the aftermath of this heartbreaking split unfold.